Welcome to my weekend welding 2-inch pipe video. In this video I'm going to TIG weld the root and I'm going to use 7018 to cap the pipe. Pipe's in the 6G position. I set the fit up at about a loose 1/8 gap. That way I could weld it with 332 TIG wire back feeding it. Once you tack it, the tacks shrink up and the gap gets a little bit smaller. So if I was to weld it with a 1/8 filler wire, I'd probably tack it at about a 532, loose 532. But with 332 wire, it's going to be a loose 1/8. So before the video started, I already tacked up the pipe, got in position, beveled it. Basically just walking the cup and back feeding the root. Using about a number 6 size cup and 332 tungsten. Always make sure to clip the end of your TIG wire. Otherwise there could be a little bit of contamination on the end of the wire. It gets in the puddle, oxidation. I sped this shot up a little bit because the camera angle wasn't very good. I'm welding this with the ESOB Rebel 205 IC. Seems like a pretty good machine. This is really the first thing I've ever welded with it. So far, so good. The only thing that I don't really like about this machine is when you're TIGging, you have to have some form of remote. You can't just set it to where the weld lead is always on. So if you get in an awkward position, you gotta either have like a TIG button or somehow be able to reach a foot pedal or maybe a little remote wheel on the torch itself, but you can't just turn it on, climb under there and start welding. Next time I want to experiment with taping a welding lens over the camera, I turn the exposure down for these shots, and it kind of has the same effect, but really all you end up with is a bunch of washout from the light. Going up around the other side of the pipe now. I had a little bit of a little spot on the bottom of the root here. Kind of washed over it a couple times and got it to suck back into the root. You'll have that on those bigger jobs. there's like some rust or a little bit of paint or something on the pipe that was sparking right there. Main trick for running a root pass with TIG is just keeping the wire in that puddle. Here I pulled it out a couple times, dabbing it back in. I think I might have been running into a tack, or I was about out of what I could see in that position. Alright, getting ready to finish closing it up. In the actual weld where you're welding a pipe that's going to get X-rayed, it's best to leave a little window, that way you can look in the root pass before you close it up. That way if you find any spots you got to fix, you can fix them and still be able to see them. For this example, I just closed it up. And that's what it ended up looking like. Camera doesn't want to focus. The previous still picture was the inside of the root pass. Not the best welder, but so far I managed to pass most of the X-rays. This one would probably pass too. Moving on to the stick. 332 7018. Started out at 90 amps. It's the first time running it on this machine here, and I realized real quick 90 amps is way too hot, so you'll see me turn it down a couple times. The bottom of this, coming up around the bottom side of that pipe, there's a couple starts and stops that were just because the puddle was getting too hot and I had to turn the machine down. When the puddle gets too hot, you can start to see it undercutting into the sides. Sped this shot up too a little bit. Same thing, you really can't see much. I don't know who was in charge of setting the cameras up. I'll fire them. Oh wait, it's me. Another little trick on the 332 rod is clamping it a little bit further up the electrode, bending the end over. That way it's a little bit more solid in the stinger. The stinger being the clip that you hook the electrode in. .332 likes to kind of wiggle around and sometimes it's like trying to hold the end of a spring in a weld puddle. All in all, I was pretty happy with the way this machine runs 7018. Clean the slag. Here we go. I turn the machine down one more time. Ended up around 75 amps. I guess I'm used to welding with 200 foot of welding lead. The shorter lead probably makes a difference. This side of the pipe came out a lot better. I already had the machine dialed in by now. Kind of just doing a little weave. Got to go a little diagonal on your fixed G's. That way it's like you're welding vertical, but just at a 45-degree angle. This pipe was so thin it only took 2 passes, one with the TIG and one with the stick. There's the starts and stops I was talking about when I was adjusting the machine. After that, it got dialed in pretty good. There you have it, 2-inch pipe weld.